Hello everyone, Mac Story with you here today to talk about the complexities of leadership. You know what I find interesting is I see a lot of people who are in formal leadership authority positions who talk about people problems they're having and ask a lot of questions because they don't know the answers and they don't know how to effectively deal with their people. And I want to try to illustrate to you today how much there is to learn about leadership. And it's really hard to explain this to people. So I think I got a good idea of how I'm going to do that. So this is a little experiment. I've never really talked about this publicly. I talk about it one-on-one a lot. I've never talked about it from the stage. So I thought today I'll do a little unscripted test and just see how I can do with you. I have no idea how long it may take, but should be kind of interesting. And what I want you to take away from it is to understand how complex and dynamic leadership is. People throw the word around like, there's nothing to it. Most people that are formal authority leaders don't even study leadership. They have a position of authority and control, and they rest upon that position. One of the first questions I ask formal authority leaders when I'm talking to them one-on-one, what are you reading, leadership-wise? Most of the time the answer is nothing. Or they'll say, well, I read so-and-so book. Tell me about it, I'll say. They don't have anything to say about it because they're not studying it, they're not living it. But they are in a leadership position. So let me explain it to you. And I'm going to use the alphabet, I'm going to use the English language to explain the complexity of leadership. To help you paint a picture of it. So I say, imagine that you and I did not speak English, but we chose to move to the United States. And we don't intentionally plan to learn the language. We're just going to come here and we speak some other language. And we come to the United States and we don't even know there is another language till we get here. And then we understand, oh, there's the English language. But we refuse to go study it and to learn it. We just say, well, we'll pick up on it accidentally throughout our lifetime and we'll be fine. And the reason I say that, that's what people do with leadership. Leadership is a language. Some people have heard about it, but they don't become intentional about it. So let's go back to the English language. What is the English language? Well, it's based on 26 letters in the alphabet. That's it. So someone would say, oh, okay, I just need to learn those 26 letters and I'll be good to go. What do you think? If all you knew were the 26 letters, how good would you be at knowing how to effectively use the English language? Not very good, huh? And some people, people who don't really want to learn the language, who just say come to the United States, and I'm using, again, this is just an example to illustrate leadership, but we come to the United States speaking another language, and we say we're just going to pick it up accidentally, which means we're not even going to learn the letters, we're not even going to learn the words, the sentences, how to write it. We're just going to, if we're going to learn it accidentally, that means we're going to learn maybe how to speak it. Maybe some words that are relevant to us, but not all the words. So that's what I'm trying to talk to you about. So now we dig back into the English language when we find out there's 26 letters in the alphabet. So we learn those. What have we learned about the English language? Not much, just the foundation. And those foundational letters are what the entire language is based on. And as I talk about leadership, there's foundational leadership principles. There's a lot more than 26. There are 1,000 of them. But I want you to just see, and I'm going to illustrate it visually in a small way. 26 letters in the alphabet. And I'm saying those are equivalent of thousands of leadership principles because there are more than 26 leadership principles. But I'm using that as an analogy. So I have here one version, just happened to be one of the old leftover hard copies I had of Webster's dictionary. This thing's 700 pages. It says there's 80,000 words in it. I looked up online on Google a minute ago, and in 2010, Google and Harvard done a research study, and they said they believe there were over 1 million words in the English language. So it starts out with 26 letters, but then there's a million words or more. In this book, there's 80,000 words. But there's also definitions, which are made up of other words to explain these words. And then you can take these words and put them into sentences. And then you can take these sentences and put them into paragraphs and communicate something. But when you truly learn the language, there's actually meaning between the words that is not written. So that's what I want you to understand about leadership. There's thousands of leadership principles. And then those principles must be defined. What are they? And then they can be applied, which is really the practices. How do we apply leadership principles in multiple different varying situations? And then why does it work with this person and it don't work with that person? Now we get down to underlying values. What means something to me may not mean something to you because my values are different. The technical definition, what would be in the dictionary may be the same, but the influence is different. See, the English language is about communication. The language of leadership is about influence. So it's tremendously dynamic. That's why folks like me, who others see us as leadership experts, we know we're never going to learn it all. I don't think I'm an expert. I think I'm a lifetime student of leadership for the reasons I've already explained to you. There's thousands and thousands of principles. Thousands and thousands more practices where the same principle can be applied in a different way. And then there's billions of people who have different life experiences so that different things are going to impact them in different ways. What influences you and motivates you may make someone else feel manipulated because they have different values. And then when you go talk about values, thousands of values that people could have for different reasons. So if you're a leader and you're not learning leadership, you're not reading leadership books, you're not trying to study leadership, you're not a leader. Not a high impact leader, you're a low impact leader. You're trying to tell me you're the master of the English language and you don't even know the alphabet. Okay, I won't be following you. So I kind of say that out of fun, right? But that's the reality of what I see. When I talk to most leadership people, meaning they have a formal authority position, the vast majority of them don't even read leadership books. So how would somebody learn the English language without going and getting an education, learning the alphabet, learning to make sentences, learning what verbs, nouns, and adjectives, pronouns, all that stuff? Imagine the complexity of the English language and wrap leadership around it and kind of convert it over like I've tried to do for you today. Maybe I didn't do it so well, but I think you get the picture. You're never going to learn it all. Nobody that I know or probably will ever know knows these 80,000 words in this book and what they mean and how to use them and how to do whatever they actually mean. But if you want to be a high impact leader, you've got to make an attempt to start learning and growing as much of it and learning about as much of it as you can. Otherwise, you're just fooling yourself. Because you ain't fooling me if you don't read leadership books. You ain't going to learn it by accident no more than you're going to learn the English language by accident. So I hope this has been just thought-provoking. That's all I wanted to do with this, is make it thought-provoking for you. Because leadership is influence. That's the one thing you need to know about leadership. It's influence. But the other thing you need to know is influence is made up of millions and millions of combinations of principles and practices and values that can be combined in so many different ways to impact other people.